Oh, that was bullshit. No, that wasn't even close. You know what? Screw you, and screw this game. I'm gonna go play Elden Ring. Why did I think that this was going to be any better? Hey there, everybody. So over February, I took a few minutes on Valentine's Day to accept the fact that I don't have a girlfriend, probably never will, and am likely going to die alone. And that got me thinking about the heart. Yep, that's where this intro's going. Because self-deprecation is funny! Specifically, I'm going to be going over the heart's anatomy, not much of its function, because A, I feel like that would be insulting to your intelligence, and B, I already have a video explaining how blood gets around the body and its importance. Now, the heart is a very hard-working organ, pumping around anywhere from 2 to 3 billion times per average lifetime. Unless you're a FromSoft fan, in which case it's more likely like 25 billion. Now, like a bloody, intricate, visceral ogre, the heart has many layers. The first layer is called the fibrous pericardium. It's the top layer which protects and holds everything else in the heart and is made of dense connective tissue. The next layer is called the parietal pericardium, which helps keep your heart in place. Under that is a layer of serous fluid, also mentioned in another video, which acts as lubricant so the inner layers of the heart can do their thing without creating friction. On top of that, it also helps act as another layer of protection for the heart. Next up is the thickest layer of the bunch, called the myocardium, which is a tough muscular layer that is the driving force behind the heart's ability to pump. The final layer of the heart is called the endocardium, which makes up the different linings used in the heart's valves, chambers, and tubes. This layer is made up primarily of smooth muscle tissue. Now that we've dissected its layers, a real quick review. Veins carry blood to the heart, typically deoxygenated, and will be represented in this video with the color blue. Arteries carry blood away from the heart, typically oxygenated blood, and will be represented in this video with the color red. Okay, cool, got that. We all know blood isn't blue? Good, got it, nice. So there isn't really a definite starting location for the path that blood takes through your heart, so I'm just going to start at these two tubey things on the right side of your heart called the superior and inferior vena cava. Now, despite their names making it sound like they divvy up the work about as well as high school freshmen, the term superior and inferior simply refer to the parts of the body that they receive blood from, as well as where they're located on the heart itself. Once blood has been received by the vena cavas, it pours into the right atrium. It's able to do this thanks to the low pressure of the right atrium, allowing the blood to easily pool in. Afterwards, the blood flows through the tricuspid valve. Now, heart valves are interesting. You see they are designed like trifold fleshy origami, with points facing in one direction. This is important because it allows blood to flow easily into the next chamber. However, once the blood is through, the valves seal shut and prevent blood from flowing back into the previous chamber. This design makes it useful in order to prevent you from coming down with a very quick and severe case of death. A good analogy for the design of these valves would be, you know that one trap in Saw 2 where the girl's trying to go for that antidote and sticks her hands through the... You know what, never mind. I might be lower on the YouTube food chain than a 12-year-old trying to break in making Minecraft YouTube videos in 2020, but I still don't want to get age restricted. Once through the tricuspid valve, we reach the right ventricle, one of the main workhorses of the heart that actually does all the pumping. Once the blood is through, the right ventricle will contract and pump the blood through the pulmonary valve, and through into the pulmonary artery. This artery is actually the only time that in the entire human body, deoxygenated blood will flow through an artery. This makes the pulmonary artery the exception, not the rule. Like with Russia when it comes to talking about policies on invading neutral countries. From the pulmonary artery, the blood flows to the alveoli in the lungs, other video, where gas exchange takes place. From the lungs, we go back to the heart through the pulmonary veins into the left atrium where it is sucked through the mitral valve. Once through the mitral valve, the blood enters the left ventricle. From the left ventricle, the newly oxygenated blood flows through the aortic semilunar valve into the aorta. This is that artery you always see mentioned on those medical soap operas when someone's bleeding profusely internally. And rightly so, because it's the largest artery in the entire human body. It's so large, in fact, that it actually extends down to your lower abdomen. This single artery is such a pillar of the circulatory system, the scale of what it supports for the body is second only to video games holding up my mental health together with scotch tape and twine. And from the aorta, freshly oxygenated blood is pumped throughout your entire body to your cells. This is what keeps your cells alive and well fed with nutrients, which in turn keeps you alive. So, you can keep doing that whole being a burden on your parents' bank account thing. Here's a neat little factoid. Hemoglobin, the oxygen-transporting metal protein in blood, contains iron, See it right there. When your blood is exposed to massive amounts of oxygen, aka a giant stab wound, it begins to rapidly rust. This is why it starts to turn to a bright red from a darker red. Just a neat little something to know in case you're ever, watching this video while dying on the sidewalk. Now that we've covered what's inside of the heart, let's cover the outside. On the outside of the heart, you'll see these intertwined strands of small veins and arteries. These are the veins and arteries responsible for the heart circulation. Circulaception, if you will. This is so stupid. The red ones are the right and left coronary arteries. These arteries are responsible for getting freshly oxygenated blood to the heart. The blue ones are your right and left pulmonary veins, which are responsible for bringing the deoxygenated blood back to the heart into the right atrium. There's actually 4 cardiac veins and coronary arteries, but I was way too lazy to draw another angle for the heart, so... All coronary arteries connect back to the aorta, while the cardiac veins connect back to the coronary sinus. Ooh, and there's this really cool medical procedure that people can do if there's actually a block. No! Just, please, no. No. And that's gonna do it for this video. Hope all 4 of you watching are having a great day, and leave me a comment on what body part you'd like to see next. Bye!